Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tasha and I am a full-time artist based in Colorado. And if you clicked on this video, then you already know we're talking about networking today, okay? The location is a little different. We're not gonna get into it. I'm in a random Airbnb in Arizona, but the show must go on, okay? About 2 weeks ago, I posted a video, I'll put it right here, of my top 10 tips when it comes to starting and maintaining a creative business. And I got some really great feedback. And one of the reoccurring requests was to talk a bit more about how to network successfully. And if it's one thing your girl knows is how to network, okay? I love to talk about myself and that is one of my specialties because I have truly built my entire business off of networking. So just as like a short synopsis of me and my qualifications, why I feel like I can talk about this is about six, 7 years ago, I decided that I was going to pursue my art dreams full time. And so I got very serious about what my goals were. I chose a niche, I chose a demographic, I chose a market/industry to be in. And if you don't know, I am a commercial illustrator, muralist, and designer by trade. I work mainly in the outdoor industry, and the people who consume and purchase my work are nature lovers, outdoorists, and just people who love beautiful things in general, right? And so when I first moved to Denver, I had a dream that this was going to be where I was going to break into this industry because outdoor life and nature and all of that is very big in Colorado, especially comparatively to Virginia, which is where I had left. And so I was online, I was doing my research, and I came across this huge convention for outdoor brands that was going to be like setting up in Denver for the very first time. The convention used to be held in Utah and they lost their contract, decided to be in Denver, and luckily that was the year that I had first moved there. So when I discovered this convention, I went not knowing that you needed a ticket to get in. So I was kind of lurking around on the outside and I noticed people going into this little gallery that was like right across the street from the convention center. So, and they all look, if you know outdoorsy people, they kind of all dress the same. So I'm just like, oh, they look like they're part of this. So like, let me go over here. So I went over there, and mind you, at the time I had a bartending job. So I knew the convention was running all week. I found that I could go into this gallery and listen to these like fireside chats, panel discussions that they were hosting there that were open to the public, and I could learn some stuff. And so that was January 2020, no, January 2017, January 2018. It was January 2018. And so I go in and I sit down and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is like different brand owners and marketing people kind of telling their story or talking about whatever products. I'm just gonna sit in here and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna observe. And so in between my bartending shifts, I was popping into that gallery every day that week, and I was sitting and I was listening and I was networking with people. I would ask questions, I would talk to the people that were sitting in the crowd with me, and from that, essentially, I was just telling people like, oh, I'm an artist, I'm very new to this industry, in this space, I'm just here to learn, I'm just here to see where I can fit in. Luckily, one of the people I ended up talking to in the crowd is like one of my best homies now, and she was an artist working in the industry, and that's why she was there. And I was like, wait, this thing exists? Like this job already is in the works? Like, tell me more. So I connected with her. One of the sessions that was in there was like a live podcast recording of a woman who owns this snowboarding ski company and another woman who had owned a marketing company at the time, and they were doing a joint discussion, and it was a live podcast recording. And I remember asking a really good question. I don't remember what the question was, but it made those women come up and talk to me at the end. And those three women, the marketing owner, the marketing agency owner, the snowboard company owner, and the other artist, those three women really changed the trajectory of my life after that, because those were like the key connections that I had made to really get my business, like my foot off the ground and my business started. And so not even like 2 weeks later, the artist, she sent me a text and she was like, hey, I just came across this post on Twitter, and she like forwarded me the screenshot, and she was like, there is this creative retreat that is looking to offer a creator of color a free experience at this creative retreat. And it was like in Leavenworth, Washington. So I think it was like 9 p.m. at the time when she sent it, and I was just laying there scrolling. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write up my little essay and send it off right now. Like, I'm not doing nothing else. And I was so shocked that like a couple days later, I'm getting a DM like, hey, we chose you to fly out to Washington and like join us at this creative retreat. My mind was blown because I never win anything. I'm not a lucky person at all. So I was really excited to have this opportunity. And it was honestly really scary at the time because I had never been to Washington. I'd never been to the West Coast really before. And so I was really like saying yes when I was scared in that moment. And I ended up going, and that event, I met so many cool creatives and business owners there. And the one person that really ended up sticking is another really good friend of mine who she's also an entrepreneur, and she does conservation and stewardship and like travel content and stuff like that. And so I got to connect with her, and we hit it off right away. And I was telling her, you know, what I want to do in the industry. And she was like, cool, say less, I'll keep you in mind. Not even like a year, like half a year later, by that summer, June 2018, when the outdoor convention came back to Denver, because they do it 2 or 3 times a year. When it came back for the summer, that same girl that I met in Washington ended up emailing me to hire me to create murals for a booth inside of the convention. And from there, it just continued to roll. Like that same summer, the woman who owned the marketing agency invited me to this really cool retreat in the mountains where I met even more women and more creatives and more business owners and just people who I just immediately just started to connect with. This is what I want to do. Please keep me in mind, etc., etc. And like it has just snowballed ever since, and I have not stopped working since. And so that's just my little background on how I've used networking to build my business and grow my brand. And so I kind of want to break down kind of what I think are the 3 components to being a very good networker and using it in the best way possible to advance yourself. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is obvious, is confidence. You need to be a confident person when you're out and about networking. Being shy, being coy, being afraid, it's not gonna get you anywhere, bookies. I'm really sorry to tell you, but you need to be your own hype man. You need to be enthusiastic about what you do, because joy and enthusiasm is infectious, and people see that and people get excited. They don't even know what you're talking about, but they're also excited because you're excited about what you do. Confidence is everything. And that's not really something somebody can teach you. It is a practice. It is a form of self-care, like to be stoked on your own self. Like that is not natural to a lot of people. And so all I can say is you got to practice. You need to know how to talk to people. Start just saying hi to people. Start complimenting people out in public. Just start talking to strangers. Like that is how you build up your confidence to start talking and networking in any moment, because networking isn't about like being really super strategic. Like obviously we want to be super strategic, but you can be networking in the grocery store. You can be networking at your doctor's office. You can be networking literally anywhere. Like you never know who knows somebody and who will recommend you for whatever. And I'm speaking to anyone who wants to start a small business or grow a brand, or it really doesn't matter what you do. Networking is going to help improve your skills and like grow your business and get to your goals. And being confident is a huge part of that. You need to be speaking clearly when you talk to people. You need to be speaking up when you talk to people. Don't nobody don't nobody want to be doing all of that. So like you need to be speaking clearly, making eye contact, and bonus, if you can make someone laugh, they're going to remember you. Like what the kids call it, Riz. You have to have charisma. You have to be infectious. Like that is how someone's going to remember the conversation that you had. If you are boring, stale, unsure, mumbling, like no one's going to remember that. So you need to practice speaking clearly, making eye contact, being very confident about what you're saying and who you are and what you do. Number 2 is having a clear direction. And I spoke a little bit about this in my video I posted 2 weeks ago about, and earlier in this video when I talk about having a niche, a demographic, a industry. You need to know what it is that you do and who it's for. Who does it benefit? Like that needs to be very clear, because that is going to help you understand how to pitch yourself to the different brands or companies or people or whomever it is you're talking to. Having a clear direction on what it is that you do, who it's for, is super important. And so you need to do that research for yourself depending on what you do. Do you write children's books? Are you a nail tech? Like what do you do? Who do you do it for? Like understanding that will help you build your pitch so that you can clearly discuss what it is that you're doing. And for me, I think that having a 15-second pitch is best, because it can be a very small interaction that you have with somebody and they don't have time to sit here and listen to your entire speech and your whole entire life story and backstory about what it is you do and why you do it. It needs to be quick and concise. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Who is it for? What do you do it with? Like, you know what I mean? Like you need to know right off the bat and how to pitch that and be very clear and concise with it, and allow them the space to ask more questions for clarification if need be. All right, let me give you an example of this. There was one year when I was at an outdoor industry convention and I was looking for brands to collaborate through social media, because at the time that was what I was really into. And so I went to one of the panel discussions that had the marketing director of the brand Go RVing there. They were sharing this like new initiative they were doing and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't there for all that. I was there for the end, okay? Like I listened to the talk. Once the talk is over, I beeline it up to the stage because I'm ready to shake hands and introduce myself with everybody up there. And so I walk up to the woman and I shake her hand. I'm like, I really enjoyed X, Y, and Z about your talk. My name is Latasha. I am a local artist here in Denver, and I do illustrations, mural, and design. Specifically, I really do a lot of plein air painting when I'm out and about in nature. And so this is the one tip I want to give you guys, is when you're networking, after you do your spiel, it's always really nice if you can let the person or brand or company know how you see yourself working with them in that moment. And so I followed that up with, you know, after watching your presentation, I could really see myself doing some storytelling in one of your RVs, traveling around the US and painting beautiful pictures and telling stories about the landscape in that way. Boom. Didn't think anything of it, got her card, and I gave her my card, which if you don't have business cards, you need business cards or a business scan, QR code, whatever. You need a way to communicate your information to someone. And I always take their card and information too. Like I am not going to rely on this person to remember to email me. I need to get their information as well. So I collected her information as well, and, you know, left it at that. Continued on with my day, continued to network with people. Another tip I want to give when you are out networking is like, make sure you're keeping your connections organized. And so I would create a chart, a running chart of the person's name, where I met them, like what company they work for, their contact, what we talked about, what did I pitch to this person? Because like in the moment when you're at these large events, like you can be talking to a whole bunch of people and it's sometimes hard to keep up with. So I literally kept a little notebook where I kept track of all of that stuff, so that when I was doing my follow-up, I knew what I was saying and like how to refresh their memory of who I was. And so that connection with the Go RVing marketing person did not come to fruition till like a whole year and a half later. An entire year and a half later, I get an email from a production company saying that they want to book me to do some storytelling about being an artist and going around in an RV and making my art. and it was freaking awesome. And I will, I think I have that video on my website, but it's also on YouTube. If you want to check it out, I will try and put it somewhere here or in the description. But those types of moments are just like so amazing to me and really teaches me the power of being confident, going for after what I want, not being scared to talk to people who are higher ups. Like, it is so important to make that connection and know what it is that you want to do when you're even like networking with people. The third thing I want to touch on is being in the right place at the right time. And that is more so a fancier way of saying like, you need to leave your house, you need to leave your office, you need to leave your studio, whatever your workspace is. You need to be leaving that space. You need to be going out and meeting people. And I've already kind of touched on this because like with my story, I told you like I went to a convention. Do the research, like where is your industry gathering? Like go to the events, go to the meetups, go to the conventions, go to the conferences. Like, yes, that stuff sometimes costs money, but it is an investment into your future. Like, you go in there, you done spent your money, you go in there, you're on business, you're about business, you're there to connect, make an impact on people, leave a lasting impression. Don't get caught up socializing and like being distracted by free things and product. Don't get caught up in that. Like, you're there to meet the people that you need to meet. And when it comes to networking, I personally like to go all the way to the top. I'm not networking with sales associates or what. I want to know, where's the owner, where's the manager, where's the head person of the department that I would probably be working in, which would be like marketing or graphics or whatever. Like, those are the people that I really want to be meeting when I'm in these spaces. And so that's what I search out for. And so just like, I want to touch on that little like chart that I made. Like, keeping your contacts really organized is so super helpful. And like, you want to make sure you're following up on the conversation that you had like within a week of that event ending, right? Like, if you're going to a convention or event that, or con or whatever, that like lasts multiple days, and you met this person on day one, do not email them the very next day. Like, everybody's running around and like focused on that event and that convention, and like your email is gonna like end up being buried under a whole bunch of stuff. I personally like to wait for the event to end, and I give it a week minimum or maximum before I reach out, because I want people to get back to their offices, get settled in, etc. And then I email them. I don't want to end up at the bottom of a stack of like 100 emails from a bunch of nonsense and like possibly not get the response that I want. So you do want to make sure that you are following up every single time with the discussion that you had, who you are, what did you pitch to them, what did you guys kiki about, like bring that stuff back up. Like, you're building relationships. Like, networking is all about building relationships. And it doesn't stop there. I guess there's a fourth thing, and that's essentially like a general follow-up. Like, even after you've done that job or you've made that connection and like you've done the thing with them, don't just like never talk to that client ever again. Like, you want to be sending in check-ins at least once a year to let them know like you really appreciated working with them and you are open to working with them again in the future. Let them know where you are, what you've been up to, how you again see yourself working with them now, if you have new skills or something like that. All of those follow-up moments are super important when it comes to networking and keeping those connections really, really strong. You always want to be in the back of someone's head, because you just never know. They may know someone who may need someone who's just like you. And because they worked with you 3 years ago and they always get a Happy New Year email from you just reminding them that you exist, they remember, oh yeah, I worked with that one personal chef, or I worked with that one artist or whatever, and I would love to recommend them because they're also a really great person. Like, being a genuinely good person will always get you a little further than the person who was a jerk or ignored them or was rude, or, you know, they heard them say something under their breath they didn't like or whatever. Like, all of that is so important. If you need help with like gaining your confidence, knowing what your pitch is, You need to practice in the mirror. You need to practice with your friends. Get their feedback. Were you clear? Do they get it? Like, are you making sense when you're pitching whatever it is that you do? I personally also like to create a photo album in my phone of just like essentially like a mini portfolio in my phone, so that if the person wants to like see some of my work, I'm not fumbling in my album. Oh wait, let me look. I remember I did this thing that like, or I'm not like fumbling in my social media accounts either, which has a whole bunch of noise and like other stuff going on around it. Like having a designated album in your photo album that you know you can just go to, open, and be like, boom, like within 5 seconds you done already pulled it up. They haven't even had a chance to like wipe their nose, you're already showing them, boom, this is what I do. Like, just, you always want to be prepared. If you, what's the phrase, if you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. You feel me? And also have my glasses transition because I'm sitting in front of this window. It's so funny. Yeah, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Again, remember, you always want to be prepared to tell any single person that you meet on the bus, on the subway, wherever, what it is that you do, why you do it, and how you do it. That is the key to building a strong business and building a strong brand and building a strong network and community around you that you can always go to when you need resources and you're looking for new work. Again, I really hope that all of that made sense. I am no expert by any means, but all of this stuff I have learned as I have grown, and I've been doing this for a little while now, so I feel very confident that these tips will help you. If you have any other questions or you want me to make a video about a different part of being a small business owner and growing a brand, please let me know, because I feel very passionate about it, and I just really do feel like there's room out here for everyone. There's room for everyone's unique voice and viewpoint and outlook on the world, and you are worthy of sharing that. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to try it out, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.